What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here with CHTV after the ending of preseason with a 20-7 victory by your beloved Green Bay Packers over the Seattle Seahawks there at Lambeau Field. I mean, that's what you like to see. That's how you want preseason to end. Some really good stuff on both sides of the ball. Hell, all three parts of the team. Daniel Whelan kicking the crap out of that ball, and Brandon McManus making a bunch of long kicks. Absolutely great tune-up. And even though it is preseason and there isn't a whole lot you can take away from as far as, oh, it means this or that narratively, it was good to see them getting after the quarterback on defense and actually moving the ball and scoring points on offense. Felt like it was a little more cohesive, and that's a testament to the coaching staff, given that they had a lot of people in and out, both ones and twos playing together. You had 19 guys in street clothes. But you saw a lot of really good, productive stuff. Clearly, I mean, I think the highlight of the day is the Matthew Golden catch up the right sideline. That's exciting stuff. That's the kind of thing he's been doing every single day at camp, during practice. Each and every day, he makes catches, maybe not exactly like that, but catches that make you think, oh, I think they got something here. Certainly seems legit right out of the box, which is exciting. And then on defense, I mean, just really nice stuff from the frontline guys. Love to see Quay Walker being decisive on that initial sack of Jalen Milroe. Across the board, I thought they played very well defensively to a guy. And it was nice to see guys have some bounce back type performances. Haddon in particular, I thought, played much better than he did in Indianapolis. Interestingly enough, you think the guys who got the most run today are undoubtedly getting the closest looks as far as what they'll be looking at film-wise over the course of the next 48 hours or so as they start to make their determinations. I think if you watch the Packers broadcast, if you listen to Harlan and Kuhn there, they were talking quite a bit in the second half about the puzzle pieces and things that we've heard Brian talk about a number of times as far as when you're trying to make this all fit and you're talking about how many wide receivers are they going to keep, how many corners, how many linebackers. So much of that is going to be determined by obviously special teams, but where they decide to go light, where they decide that they have to keep maybe a body or two extra. Those are going to be interesting conversations. Christian Welch is a perfect example of a guy who last year got caught up in the wash after a really good camp and preseason. I thought he's played just as well as he did last summer. I think he absolutely deserves to make this team, but he deserved to make it last year, and he didn't make it. Ends up going to Denver. So we'll see how this all kind of transpires over the course of the next 2 or 3 days. Obviously, Tuesday is your deadline for cutdowns. Going to be some fascinating choices being made, especially, I think, for us in the public, not really having a great handle on where guys are rehab-wise. I mean, we've had dudes who have not stepped foot on a practice field yet, coupled with guys who did start camp and then have not participated for weeks, whether you're talking about Dontavian Wicks or Jaden Reed. I mean, obviously it was very exciting to get Xavier McKinney back on the practice field Thursday, but he's just come back. A lot of things to kind of sort out there for the personnel group as far as who is going to be right for week one. And if they're still projected to maybe miss a week or two still, does that mean you have to go a little heavier at one of those positions? It's a real possibility. So those are the obviously kind of fun things we'll be following along here at Cheesehead TV. Make sure you like and subscribe here at the channel. Make sure you're checking out cheeseheadtv.com each and every day. And chiming in. Here we go. Lots of folks already saying hello. Go Pack Go. That's right. Joe, mailman. Second half of the last preseason game can get pretty ugly. You're not lying. No question about it. But look, it's not a surprise, right? I mean, these are very deep reserves. The majority of those guys you're watching, especially in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, the vast majority of those folks won't be on an NFL roster, let alone in Green Bay. So I'm always keen to watch it. But yes, as far as aesthetically pleasing football, probably not what you're tuning in for, or it shouldn't be, no doubt about it. Jim, I agreed. I think Deslin Alexander made a good case today, and I think that comes on the heels of a day in Indianapolis where I thought he played well last Saturday as well. He's a guy who could get caught up in the wash, but I think he could return on the practice squad. I wouldn't be surprised if they earmarked him for that. But that's 2 weeks in a row where he's certainly shown up throughout a preseason game and put some nice stuff on tape. Of that, I very much agree. Boomer Fitness, how are you, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the great offseason and keeping us engaged this offseason. What do you think of the Parsons situation? Is it a game of chicken on both sides? I think, yeah, it's no doubt. I will be shocked. And I know this has become a Packers talking point because of, the big name and there's been connections to the Packers. But no, I will be shocked if anything other than a return to Dallas with a new contract happens. But we'll see. We shall see. Joe, thanks for the super chat, man. Simmons or Welch, Brinson or Stackhouse, Heath or Hardman. Don't think Alexander can make the 53, but he makes plays. Seems like good depth at edge. I very much agree, especially with that last part. And I think another guy who helped himself is Brenton Cox Jr. Another really strong performance from him. It helped that Halfley kind of let him off, let him get after the quarterback a little bit this week. But yeah, those are some decisions to be made. For me, it's Welch over Simmons, and I think that's obvious. Simmons played deep into the fourth quarter today. That tells you they want to take a long look. And I thought he certainly played better in the second half than he did in the first. But that's against deep reserves, right? You want that guy to be playing a lot better against frontline players than he has been this summer. I will say, with that said, he showed up on teams a bunch of times today. And I can understand a world where they decide, okay, we want him because of teams. But man, I don't think he's beaten out Christian Welch in any meaningful way. Meaning that whatever you get from Simmons on teams, you can get from Welch. And you probably have a better player from scrimmage. But we'll see how that kind of shakes out. Maybe they go heavy there because they go light someplace else. As far as Brinson or Stackhouse, I suspect Brinson will get the nod, not only because he's a draft pick, though that will certainly help. I do think he's shown up here these last couple weeks and played better on balance in the preseason games. I think Stackhouse has been better in practice than he has been in these games, but I don't think they'd have much trouble getting him on the practice squad. So I suspect you'll see Brinson on the 53. That would be my guess right now. And then the tough one really is Heath or Hardman. I very much agree that is going to be a long discussion. I think you saw the value for Heath today, both from scrimmage. He did some really nice work as a receiver, but also made a number of special teams tackles throughout this game, kind of reminding folks why they liked him, right? His physicality, his goon-like nature, which Matt LaFleur himself has talked about. I think it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. That's a tough decision. And maybe because of Hardman's return ability, that drives them to go deep there or go, heavy at wide receiver. And look, it could also be driven by whatever, however long Wicks and Reed are going to be out. Maybe they decide, okay, we got to go a little heavier there. Again, they have the medical information. We don't. But if I had to guess right now, I'd say they probably go Heath over Hardman. Now, again, that's just a guess, but certainly Malik really helped himself this week and today in particular, I would say. Soder, how you doing, man? Takeaways. The Brinson and Stackhouse combo was not great together. Put one of them with ones, maybe Golden is a stud. No idea what punt return looks like. Well, that's the thing. That's why I still don't mind the idea of keeping Hardman specifically as a punt returner because all the other options are pretty suspect, right? Even going back to Jaden Reed, who knows if he's even healthy for week one. At least he's got experience and knows what the hell he's doing back there. Week one of the preseason notwithstanding. It's a tough cut, man. That would be a tough cut. As far as Brinson and Stackhouse combo, not great together. I would tend to agree. They have not covered themselves in glory when paired together. Alien, what's up? Thanks for checking out the stream on Twitch. Kalen King has been hot this summer, but I have to think he is cornerback 6 behind Melton. Packers front office has their work cut out for them this week. I thought Kalen really helped himself today. I think he's had a really good camp, but I agree with you. I do think when you look at the hierarchy at the position, I do think Melton is probably preferred. But that said, man, King's put some really nice stuff on tape, and he works really well out of the slot. Of course, the slot thing may hurt him because, they obviously run Bullard and Hobbs there. Maybe they think we don't need another slot guy on the 53. I do think he's really helped himself and at least made it a very difficult conversation, but I agree with you. I think Melton is pretty clearly ahead of him as far as every time they've run anything out there with any kind of combination, he's been the guy. Isaiah Simmons did way better this week. Jordan, I think he did better the more they got into playing against the reserves. I think he was still a little scattershot early in the game, but he was definitely more sound as far as arriving on balance and making tackles, making plays. In that regard, I think he was better. No question about it. Soder, thanks again, man. Looks like Walker's the left tackle and Morgan is the plug and play. Worried that Morgan got the left guard snaps out of the box. Would you prefer they go Jacob Monk out of the box? I don't mind it at all. I mean, that's just your Eeyore nature, which I get. And look, Walker was at left tackle today, yes, and played well, by the way. But it's still a competition. They talked about it. This is a competition right up until the end. And Walker certainly put some nice stuff on tape today. But Jordan Morgan's played well at left tackle for the last 2 weeks, including the last 2 preseason games. I don't think today decided anything in that regard. But also, I don't mind my former first round pick being the guy who is plug and play, whether it is at left or right guard or even at left tackle. Having that coming in and off the bench, bring it on, man. That's great. I mean, don't look much further than the playoff game last year. Elton goes down and everything falls apart and goes to hell. I'd much rather, don't worry about it. We got our former first round pick here to just throw in the mix. I much prefer that. Trust me. Snacks, what's up, man? Thanks for checking out the stream. Tyron Hopper stood out in the first couple defensive possessions. I'm really excited to see how he develops next to Edgerrin Cooper. I think he played on balance pretty damn well while he was out there for the entire game. I do agree, though. Yeah, he flashed early. No question about it. It's something we talked about here on Packers Daily earlier this week. He just needs to play, man. I don't think there's any case to be made where he shouldn't be on the field at least as much as, if not more, than Isaiah McDuffie when they go 3 linebackers. We'll see how it shakes out coming week 1, but man, he has had an excellent summer. And I think of all the players, you talk about year 1 to year 2 jumps, he's made the biggest jump. And I think he's clearly the most improved player on the team. Brian Price, how are you, man? Feels like a very urgent week 1 and 2 with back-to-back 4 days. Would love to be 2-0. 1 game at a time, baby. Got to go 1-0 first. But yeah, I hear you. I mean, 0-2 would be really deflating. Now, that said, I know there are a lot of doomsayers out there, but just going 0-2 doesn't end the season. I know it will feel like that if it happens, but it won't. It won't end anything. But yes, of course, it's daunting. 2 big NFC opponents, 1 big, huge divisional opponent who has somewhat been your bully the last couple years. Yeah, they're huge matchups. There's no doubt. And look, God bless the NFL. They know how to gin up the drama, and that's certainly the case with the Packers right out of the gate. No doubt about it. Soder, what's up? Speculation is done. Go beat the Lions. Yes, correct. What else we got here, folks? Shepard should be the return man. Got an opportunity today, right? And he's done a little bit of it. I don't know that they would trust it right out of the gate week 1, but I mean, crazier stuff has happened. If they really kind of like him in, any kind of special teams role, even outside of being a returner, then maybe he's got a shot. I would suspect that'd be a pretty big jump, but like I said, man, I've been surprised before. William Boyd, thank you so much. Thanks for the things you do, my friend. Carry the G, peeps. Go Pack, go. They see, there you go. There you go. A-Train, it's a good question. Who's going to be quarterback 3? Clearly, I think Elgersma helped himself today a lot more than Clifford did. Some of that was situational, who they were playing with and versus. But yeah, Air Canada, I thought had a good game overall. Now, my big concern with Elgersma as your quote unquote developmental guy is his real lack of mobility and or pocket presence and or escapability. In today's NFL, it's real hard even to develop a guy without some kind of maneuverability in the pocket and just innate sense of pressure and being able to get out of it with your legs. Especially if you're like a deep reserve guy, you're going to be put in really tough situations if you're ever called upon. And I think it's way more advantageous for a team and a franchise and a program to have a guy who can make something happen with his legs as opposed to a bit of a statue, right? And look, he's got the arm. There's no question he's got the arm. But yeah, you'd like to see a little bit more creativity in and out of the pocket. And that's not to kill the guy because I think he's doing what he can, right? He can only work with what God gave him. But it does seem to be a limiting factor. And I do think if they were to make that decision, it wouldn't surprise me, i.e., okay, we're not going to keep either of these guys. You know, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think if they do make the nod, it probably will be Elgersma, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just cut bait. Because, like I said, you don't have a ton of reps, and the guys that you want to keep around and develop, you would hope are going to continue to grow and develop in a way that they can be effective in the NFL. It's really hard to see that path forward for Air Canada. As much as I like him and as much as I think he can sling it, it feels like it might be a bit too much to ask, but we'll see. We shall see. What else we got here, folks? Brandon, I don't disagree, man. 2-0, way more likely than 0-2. Glaring weaknesses on both teams that we match up well against. I think on paper you can make a case for that, but man, they don't play the games on paper, as we all know. And things will change drastically once they, buckle up those chin straps and get ready for week one, and kickoff happens and all the unscouted stuff happens and the physicality ramps up and guys are playing full games after having played very precious few snaps throughout the last couple months. I hear you, man. I hear you, but it's a different animal. And I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's just a different beast once quote unquote real football starts, I do think the Packers should win these games. But man, there have been plenty of games I thought they should win that they got trounced or got beat handily, We shall see. Porkman, what's up, man? Thanks for being a Care of the G Club member. Does Lloyd start on the IR to allow a guy on the bubble to make the 53? He is so talented. Just hope he is not an injury-prone guy. I would be very surprised if he wasn't put on the IR. And remember, they have 2 spots this year in a rule change that happened this offseason. There are 2 spots for injured reserve prior to final cutdowns. Prior to this year, if you got put on injured reserve prior to the 53-man cutdown, that means you were done for the season. But this season, they've changed that rule where there are 2 spots. If you get put on an injured reserve prior to the final cutdown to the 53, 2 spots where they can bring you back sometime in the season, like designated to return, but it's essentially a full season's worth. They have 2 spots they can do that with. I would suspect Loy will be one of those. There's a lot of juggling that's going to happen over the course of this next 2-3 days, but I suspect that'll be one of the moves we see, yes. Ken Hansen, how are you, man? Haven't seen you in a while. First half today shows what it looks like when you make fewer mistakes than your opponent. I mean, how crazy is it that we got to, I think, within the 2-minute warning before the Packers had their first penalty? I mean, play a clean game, right? Cause fumbles, make them make mistakes, take advantage of those mistakes. Don't make many of your own. You're going to win a boatload of football games. Totally agree, Ken. Tyler Gray, how are you? Thanks for the super chat. Them Jackrabbit boys can play ball. I wonder if Tucker had a hand in bringing in Amar Johnson. Possibly. I mean, maybe they talked to him at some point, but mostly, the personnel folks will keep their own counsel in that regard. But I do like Amar, and I do like his shiftiness. I think he's a lot tougher than probably people expect him to be. That said, I think he's got practice squad written all over him, which I think, there's something there that they can develop. No doubt about it. Remember to like and subscribe to this video. Thank you, Andrew Morin. Appreciate you, man. Very much appreciated. Belt and only one penalty today. There. See, that's cause for celebration right there. Although I will say, did anyone catch the shot of LaFleur right after that happened? I mean, that was gold. That was cinema. He was so like upset / stressed out and trying to keep it all in, like furrowed brow, hand over head. Like that was hilarious. That was so good. Does Izzy make the squad? Jim, I doubt it. I think he's got a shot at practice squad, and I like him as a player. I think he's had a good summer from the moment he stepped in the door. Obviously, they got him off waivers from San Francisco. That's a hard nut to crack as far as making the 53-man roster, though. I think he's got a chance to stick on the practice squad if he chooses to. Now, who knows? He may have opportunities elsewhere. But I think he's made a good case, no doubt about it. JSB, getting right down to it. Jacob Mung get cut? I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me. He's had a rough summer, no doubt about it. Rough camp, rough preseason games. Hasn't been consistent in any way, shape, or form at really anything they've asked him to do. He's had moments, he's had flashes, but he's had some real rough stretches too. Maybe being a former draft pick saves him. And you talk about just a lack of depth overall along the interior. They want to stick with a guy they know, they've worked on for the last year and a half. Maybe that keeps him, right? That keeps him around. But I tell you what, if I woke up tomorrow or Tuesday and there was a, Packers release Jacob Munk, wouldn't surprise me. Well, let's put it that way. Soder, thanks again, man. Thanks for preseason Zoom room. Surprisingly, not a totally negative venue. This Whitehurst freak is feeling good about the 2025 Packers. Well, that's good. I'm glad. And I'm glad the Eeyore chat was lively and at least not full Eeyore. That's good. That's good to hear. Ryback, thank you for becoming a Carry the G Club member. Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate the support. And I appreciate the support of everyone who utilizes Cheesehead TV in any way, whether you support us via Patreon, Carry the G Club here on YouTube, even if you're just here each and every day for Packers Daily or watching Packer Transplants when it's back or watching Watch Parties, which will be back in a couple weeks. I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate, how much we at Cheesehead TV appreciate each and everything, moment, support, whether monetarily or just watching the streams and hell, buying the merch, whatever. Really, really, really appreciate it. All right, buddy, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, each and every game. It's what we do. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you Monday. Go Pack Go.